Hey guys, it's Caroline, career and leadership coach. And today I want to talk about your job search because it's the beginning of the year and a lot of people are restarting their job search. So there are basically a couple of points where people get stuck. And I want to start with that to give you an idea what is typically going on here. So first of all, you can get stuck when you are applying for jobs and not getting feedback. So that's the first situation. The second situation is that you're applying for jobs, getting interviews, but not getting the job offer. So I want to unpack a little bit what's going on here and what you might need to pay attention to in order to get success and in order to land your next six-figure leadership role. So first of all, so you're applying for roles and you're not getting any feedback. So the reasons or the challenge that you might have is first of all your resume, and secondly your job search. So let's start with your resume. So your resume might not communicate who you are and your unique value proposition. It might not sell you. So a resume is basically your first impression to a company that doesn't know you. So basically it needs to sell you. Your resume has only one job, is to sell you to get the interview. And if you don't get the interview, then you have to start by looking at your resume. Is it generic? Is it text heavy? Does it really truly communicate what you can bring to the table? Does it really communicate your unique value proposition? Is it enticing enough? Because if the answer to any of that is no, then you need to look at your resume. Secondly is your job search. Now, most people have a job search that looks like this. They see a job advertised on any of the job boards and they just hit apply online and they pray to the gods and hope that they get an interview. Well, that's not really a strategy. That is a hope strategy. You hope that something will happen, but you have no control over that. Now, where it becomes really important to look at your job search is when you're a candidate looking for a role and you do not fit in a typical mold. So here's the thing. Recruiters, whether it's agency recruiters or internal recruiters, they will look at certain keywords, at certain history, and they will look for people most of the time that have worked in like-minded positions, in like-minded organizations, and so on. HR is the same thing. So basically, if you don't fit specifically in that brief, then you're going to find it challenging. And then you have to look at your job search strategy on how to diversify that and how to actually stand out. Because if you just apply online and hope that from the hundreds of candidates that you're competing with, that they will pick your resume, even though you know you're not perfect fit for the position, even though you can do it. I don't say you can't do it. It's like when you change industries, when you don't, when it's too complicated for a recruiter to actually connect the dots on your behalf. If you don't fit that specific mold, then they are not going to be able to see the value that you bring to the table. And so it is so important in that case to look at your job search strategy. So if you send your resume, if you apply for roles, and if you don't get interviews and not getting any feedback, then the two things that I want you to look is, first of all, your resume. Is it communicating your unique value proposition? And secondly, I want you to think about your job search strategy. Is applying for the roles online through job boards the best and most effective way you can land a job? Question mark. That's an answer for you. The second part of the equation is when you get interviews, but you don't get the job. So a couple of things going on here that I really want to unpack. The first thing that I want to really highlight is if you get interviews, but you don't get the job and you stuck at the first interview, that is often the case that they saw something on your resume that they expected, but that you didn't deliver that in the interview. So let me repeat that, because it's really important that cements. They expected to see something in the interview because they saw it in your resume, but you didn't really give them the right confidence, or you didn't deliver on that. So there is a disconnect between what your resume is communicating and what you are communicating in the interview. So that so often happens when people haven't written their resume themselves. So then there is a big disconnect between the interviews they're getting and basically the perception they give in the interview. So there is a big disconnect. The second part is, for example, if you get the interview, but for jobs that you can do but don't want to do, again, your resume gives the wrong idea to a company, the wrong perception of what it is that you really can do for them. So again, you need to look at your messaging, at your unique value proposition, and how you present yourself. Because so many people think about their interview skills and they say, like, my interview skills are the problem. And I don't say they are not, but it all needs to start with first an alignment between your resume and the person that the interviewer sees in the interview. That needs to connect. Because if there is no connection there, then actually the rest doesn't really matter. You might have the best interview techniques. Like, if there is a disconnect there, then people just tune out. That brings me to the second part, interview techniques. Now, most people I work with have over 15 years experience. So they have a lot of skills and experience. And the higher up the corporate ladder you go, the more competitive it becomes, the more candidates they have when they advertise a role. And the less opportunities are available. So when you get an interview for a role that's on a higher level, a six-figure level, then you really want to make sure that you bring your A game, that you do the best performance in the interview, that you are authentic to yourself and your capabilities. Now, interviewing is a skill, and a skill you need to learn. And the only way you learn something is through practice. So you have to make sure that you have enough practice, whether it's with a coach like myself, whether it's with your partner, with a friend, doesn't matter. Don't expect just to wing it, because what brought you to that level that you are on at the moment might not bring you to the next level. So you have to make sure there is the right alignment again between you and the role that you want. And then lastly, so we have the interview structure. People know most of the time how to structure an interview and what to say in an interview. But let me tell you, there's so many people that don't take time enough to really prepare their interviews. And that's basically what holds them back. They're not standing out enough. They're waffling in an interview. They're not confident, and so on. Because basically in an interview, there are 3 reasons why you don't get the job. So you have to let me go back a little bit. First of all, when you apply for a job and you are sending in your resume, you have what I call a screen out process. So what that means is they try desperately to get rid of, they have 350 resumes, and they try to really narrow that down to the top 5. So they try to really get rid of as many resumes as possible. So that is the screen out process. Now, once they have their top 3 or 5 candidates that they are inviting for an interview, they want to do a screening in process. What that means is basically they want to find their perfect candidate, because the hiring manager has a need and they need to fulfill that need, to deliver on that project, to meet their bonus or their whatever it is, or KPIs. So at that stage, when they invite you for an interview, they really are looking for the person that comes on board and fills that gap, that need, that problem, that solves that problem that they have. So it's a screening in process. Now, when you have a screening in process, basically you need to do three things. You need to give, or there are three reasons why you don't get the job. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So the first reason is that there is no cultural fit, and that is okay. A lot of people get in this mode of like wanting a role, even though there is no cultural fit, and it doesn't only goes from that side, it also comes from your side. So it's so important that there is that cultural fit. Secondly, there is if the people that are interviewing you already have their mindset on something else, or if they have an important meeting with the CEO just after that, they might not fully be present in the interview. So that is outside your control on how you actually be able to influence that interview. You might have the best interview techniques in the world. If the person that is interviewing you is not engaged, is not there, and is not in the right mindset, it's not going to work. And the third point is completely in your control, because your job in the interview is to give them the confidence that you can do the job and overachieve in the job. So that is basically the structure. Now, with my signature program, the Career Success Program, there are a couple of things we focus on, and I will just share my screen with you guys so you can see what I mean. So there's basically three things that we focus on. So in the middle, you have career success. And career success for everybody is very defined differently. Some people basically want to climb the corporate ladder. Other people want to set boundaries. Other people just want to return into the workforce. No matter how you define it, there's always three components that come again and again and again. And in 12 years, or even more now, stop counting, that I've had my business, it is so prominent, or that those three elements are really important to people time and time again. So the first one is making an impact. So making a difference, making like a difference and be respected, making a difference in the project, in the lives of the colleagues, with the customers, for your boss. It's like basically making an impact. That's really important. The second part is money. And I don't say you have to earn the most money in the world, but there needs to be a balance between what you put in and like hard work and the sacrifices you make and what you get back. There's nothing worse than being underpaid. And I know a lot of people that say pay is not really all there is, but there needs to be a balance, and there needs to be there needs to be a balance between what you do and what you get back, because being underpaid is not sustainable, and you don't feel that you can make the impact that you want. So that's the second reason. And the third reason is feeling fulfilled. And feeling fulfilled at the end of the day is coming home and being able to say, like, you know what? I worked with amazing people on an amazing project, and I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling respected. I'm feeling valued. I'm feeling utilized, and you basically feel fulfilled. So basically, these are the three things that I work on with my clients, is like getting all of that right. And so let me know if you disagree with me, but those are the three things. And then what we do is we focus on a couple of projects. And the first project we focus on is your unique value proposition. Now, not a lot of people know what their unique value proposition is. Not a lot of people know what makes them unique. Now, there's not a lot of unique in the world anymore, but you are unique. You worked in a certain moment in time. You have certain skills and talents. you worked with certain stakeholders, and it's that combination that makes you unique. And you have to define your unique value proposition, because if you don't know it, they won't know it. So first of all, to make an impact, to make the money that you deserve and to feel fulfilled, it all starts with knowing your unique value proposition. Then the second part is your self-marketing material. So how are you communicating yourself to the rest of the world? What's your LinkedIn profile saying? What's your resume saying? How are you using your cover letter? Because this is how you attract the right jobs, the interviews that you want, and basically the job of your dreams. How you put yourself out there. But you can't do that without knowing your unique value proposition. So many people ask me like, oh, can you look at my resume because I'm not getting interviews? Like, whoa. That's not how it works. You need to first uncover and unpack what makes you you before we can go into that. Because otherwise there is a big disconnect. And you will see in the great scheme of things, your job search and career won't work because the foundation hasn't been put in place. And then the last aspect is having a strategy, because basically without having the right strategy, nothing is going to happen. And within your strategy, you have your job search strategy, you have your interview strategy, and you have your salary negotiation strategy. So those are the projects that you have to work on, and you have to look at your career as a whole and look at things. Are all the right foundational elements in place for me to move forwards, to move upwards? Because if they're not, then that's where it's going to break down. If you don't have your unique value proposition and you're focusing on customizing and really refining your resume, guess what? It's not going to happen. And if you try to focus on your interview techniques and your strategies, but you don't know what makes you unique and what makes you different, and the brand you put out through your self-marketing is not really aligned with what you want, because again, it's not going to happen. You're not going to make the money that you want. You're not going to make the impact that you want. You're not going to feel fulfilled. And some people, they feel that is okay. They can suck it up. But if you choose that is not okay, that you want to make a difference and really work on this, then I would say reach out to me and we can see how we can work together. So if you say like, let's have a chat, newhorizoncoaching.com.au/call. What I do is basically I help people land their next 6-figure leadership role. And I do that by those 3 things, like defining and unpacking their unique value proposition, helping them create the right self-marketing material, which is your CV, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn, and building out a strategy that's going to get you to where you want to be. So if that interests you, schedule in a call. And on the call, what we only will do, we will identify together where you're at the moment, where you want to be. We will map out together what that would look like as a strategy. And then at the end, if you say, Caroline, I need your help implementing this, because basically the 3 reasons why people work with me is like they tried it themselves, they get stuck, they want it faster, or they want a proven system, because then they know that they don't risk missing out. So if that's you, book a call today at newhorizoncoaching.com.au/call, and we will have a chat there. So I hope this was useful. If it was useful to you or anyone you know, what you do is give me thumbs up, because the more people like it, the more exposure I get on LinkedIn, and the more people I can reach with my message. And that's what it's all about, helping people transform their job search and their careers. And so if you say like, look, this resonated with me, give me thumbs up, share this video, or comment with anything that you think will make a difference. I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next live. Thank you so much.